Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to do a video that I've always wanted to do ever since I started my YouTube channel. And that is what's on my iPhone XS Max. I have a ton of apps that I've accumulated throughout my years of owning an iPhone, and every time I get a new phone, I start brand new. I never transfer the apps from one to the next because I know that I always download apps constantly, so if I kept all of the apps I started with, I would have like 300 pages. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you the apps that I've had over the past year as long as I've had this phone. Let's start with my homepage and how I organize my apps. So the thing is, I really don't organize my apps. When I want to go to an app, like let's say Sweetgreen for example, I will pull down halfway on my phone and then type it in, and then it shows up. I've found that to be the simplest way of using it versus having a specific spot thinking like, oh, it's on page 4. So my first page of apps is all of the stock Apple apps, but then I added YouTube. One, because YouTube is one of my favorite apps. It's always been since the beginning. And with the first iPhones, YouTube was a stock app. So I think it should be on the first page. I wanted to maintain Apple's integrity because I'm that much of a fan of Apple that I didn't want to rearrange anything. I find myself using the stock camera app to take pictures. I know some people use other apps to take their pictures and to get more control, but I found for the most part I use the Apple stock camera to take the photos, and I'll use other apps to edit them. I use weather. I use the Stocks app as well. The Stocks app I think is really well done because it takes the information from Apple News and from Yahoo Finance and combines it, and I think it's very beautiful and very informational. And that's something I've recently gotten into since I've recently gotten into stocks. And then Apple TV, I do use Apple TV. I love the shows Home Before Dark and The Morning Show. Those are really great shows, and I'm planning on starting some of the other ones. I really wanted to start Servant by M. Night Shyamalan, so if you have seen that, let me know in the comments if it's good. The second page, I have more stock apps. Find My, which Apple combined Find My Friends and Find My iPhone in the newest update. And then all of the other stock Apple apps, which I really don't use that often. But then I get into the apps that I had to download when I first got this phone. So this really is, in a sense, the order that I downloaded these apps. So the first app is of course Spotify. I use Spotify so much. As you can tell from my top videos on my channel, I am a huge fan of Spotify. They consistently never let me down and they're always innovating. There's Apple Books. I don't use that. I use a different one, which I'll get to. It's on the last page. Amazon app, I use that to order everything under the sun. I mean, I've recently even just started looking up certain groceries like coconut sugar in the wake of this situation right now. Instagram, I don't spend as much time on it as I used to, especially because of TikTok. I spend a lot more time on TikTok than Instagram. Next up, Snapchat. I really do love Snapchat. I have used it for a long time and I still use it pretty much every day. And then there's 1 Second Every Day. And 1 Second Every Day I kept up with last year. So basically, it's almost like a gratitude journal, but in video format. So you pick your favorite second of every day and you capture it. So that at the end of the year, you have 365 seconds of your highlights of your year. And watching it at the end of the year is really rewarding. It makes you feel very accomplished and like your year was great. Even if you had a bad year, remembering the good and saving that is really important. It operates like a calendar. As you can see, I haven't done it in a while, but here's one of me and my dog. And you can do videos or pictures. Let's see, there was this one from when we filmed a green screen video. I have a lot of my dog because he's my best friend. Words with Friends, I just kicked the camera, sorry. Words with Friends, I have been using since the beginning. If you want to play me in Words with Friends, here's my username. Whole Foods, I really love the Whole Foods app. It had to be on my first page. Whole Foods is really one of my favorite grocery stores. I love it so much. And since Amazon bought Whole Foods, they now have the Prime code. So if you are an Amazon Prime member, you scan this code at checkout and you get an extra 10% off the sale prices. Okay, next up, a lot of the streaming stuff. So Netflix, Xfinity Stream. I have Xfinity at home, so if I want to watch TV on my phone, that's what I use. And HBO Go. Twitter, I don't use anymore. Ever since they started showing you every time someone liked something, I thought it was kind of a nuisance and it really ruined the whole experience for me. I haven't used it in a while. Google Maps, I prefer Google Maps to Apple Maps. Yelp, I am a Yelp guy. I love Yelp. I'm that person that looks up places. I just really like to get the best experience possible and to make sure that if I'm going out with friends that everyone is accounted for. If someone's vegetarian or vegan, that they have vegan options and that they have good food. It's not just like iceberg lettuce on a plate. I like looking at the pictures on Yelp, and then sometimes I'll even cross-reference it on Instagram because I'm very indecisive when it comes to picking out my food. So I'll probably pick it out in advance, or like think about it at least, like start the process. MBTA M-Ticket for if I'm taking the train, that's what I'll use. Lyft, because I prefer Lyft to Uber. I had a really dangerous situation happen to me with Uber in the past, and they did handle it. My personal opinion on the situation was that Lyft would have handled it much better. And Uber has gotten a lot better over the years, but this was around 2 years ago, and I feel a lot safer with Lyft, so I keep it on the second page. I still use Uber sometimes as well. I don't have anything against Uber, it's just I feel safer taking a Lyft. So next up is food. I have Starbucks, Dunkin', Chipotle, Sweet Green, Panera. Those are like 5 places that I really go to often. Then the Target app, and the Target app also gives you extra savings. So if I go into the Target app, they have a new thing called Target Circle. So it gives you free gift cards when you buy certain things, or you can look at specific offers. You can sort from the top by discount, which is something that I really like to do. Sorry, I'll move my phone up here so I don't look like I'm looking down. Someone thought I was reading last time. I don't read, I just ad-lib. So you can sort by discount. I mean, if I wanted to get Chobani nut butters, it's 50% off. Sounds like a good deal. I just add it. And then at the end, you click on your wallet and it shows you your barcode that you scan, and you get all of the offers that you added. And even as you go, if you want to scan it and see if it's on sale, sometimes that's a good way to save money. And then you also get an overall percentage of what you spend. You get earning benefits is what they call it. So definitely worth it to have it, especially if you go to Target often. And then there are just some clothes apps. Abercrombie, I've always loved them. I think they've kind of matured with age. When I was like 12 or 13 and it was the coolest thing in school, I liked it then, and it was like really flashy then, but now I think it's kind of grown with me. So I'm able to buy certain pieces that I think are very high quality at a really good price. Zara, I will look there sometimes. I don't buy from them as often as Abercrombie. Facebook Messenger, I don't have the Facebook app. I don't use it, but I do use Facebook Messenger, and it's something that I had to use when I was in college. It's something that keeps me connected with other people. BuzzFeed, because who doesn't want to know like what type of cat they are on a Friday night when they're bored? I haven't taken a BuzzFeed quiz in a while. What does your handwriting say about you? Have you ever thought about it? No. But have you thought about it now? Yeah. And must you know? Yes. BuzzFeed gets you in that way, and then you'll just fall into the trap of taking quizzes for hours. I love it. Facetune, I don't use it in the way that most people use it. If I have a picture and say there's something like in the background that I don't like I could defocus it. Like I like just using it in like random ways like that, and then you can see the before and after. But I mean, ever since Apple added portrait mode, I haven't really used it in a while, but it does look better in that way. So I do use it in some ways like that. I don't go crazy, and I don't really edit my pictures like to look like Instagram tan. Then it gets into finances, kind of boring. Bank of America, I like Bank of America. They're my personal favorite. I've tried other ones, and that's the one that I like. Venmo, Discover, and Glassdoor. Discover is my favorite credit card company. I love them. They've always been good. You can freeze your account if anything goes wrong. They give you really good alerts and your FICO credit score. So Discover has always been really good to me. I started out with no credit. I started out in college and they gave me a student one, and I was able to grow my credit score from there, and I think it's a really great app. Shazam, always had Shazam, and now I love it even more now that Apple bought it and got rid of the ads. I'm always using Shazam. I'll walk up to a TV if I'm watching a movie and I really want to know the song, I'll Shazam it. Or if I'm at a store, I'll stand under the speaker like, I don't care, look at me if you want, but I need to know the song sometimes. And then I'll get home and listen to it and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this song. But sometimes I'll listen to the song when I get home and I'm like, more clothes stores, Nordstrom Rack, Mango, which is a European Zara kind of thing, Urban Outfitters. Lightroom is a great app to edit your photos. It's very advanced, especially for mobile photo editing. You can edit the curves, you can edit the levels, and it's free. So I really do appreciate Lightroom. Duolingo is an app that teaches you a different language on the daily. I haven't opened it in a long time. And if you haven't already seen the memes, Duolingo gets very mad at you if you don't open it. And there are memes about the Duolingo bird like actually coming after you. And even from the Duolingo official Twitter, like it'll be like very mad that you're not keeping up with your French or your Spanish or whatever. So I'm sure if I open it now, I haven't used it in like months, but I taught myself French on it and it really did work. Like I was able to speak some sentences like, Je suis un garçon. Like I just kept saying that all day. Or je mange un orange. Like it was just fun. I took Spanish for 10 years in school, so it's fun to brush up on that. Duolingo will give you an initial language test to test your aptitude, and then it will go from there. So with Spanish, it's more advanced for me, but for French, it's still the beginners. And it says allow notifications. I do not allow notifications because they're very intense. Look at the Duolingo bird like clutching the bell. Like it's gonna ring it very loud if you don't do it. But it's a great tool. I think it's my favorite tool to learn a new language. eBay, I really like eBay, especially recently during this situation where Amazon Prime, the shipments were delayed for certain things. Like I needed a certain camera part and Amazon Prime said it could take up to 4 weeks because they're prioritizing other things. Well, eBay does this thing for free. It's called their fast and free shipping on certain items. So if you look up, let's say for example, the Apple Magic Mouse, you can filter it and then you go to shipping and you click expedited shipping and then it'll show you fast and free, guaranteed by Monday, May 4th. So that's cool. It always gets there from my experience right when the date they say it will, but it might vary by seller. I like it. I think it's a great option and I like that it's free. Etsy I'll use for gifts. You can find anything on Etsy really, from plants to custom jewelry, custom pillows. And then there's Arrow, which is my favorite game by far. It's been out for a long time. It's not even updated to fit my screen, but I could play Arrow for hours on end. And I shut off all the sounds, so sometimes I'll put on Spotify and I'll just Arrow while listening to music. Next up is iHerb. iHerb is a self-care and wellness store. They do really good discounts. And also you can look at their trial products if you want to try something out, like their lip balm is $2 for a pack of 8. Probiotics is $1, and their California Gold bars I found tasted really good and they're a pretty decent price. And then it gets into EWG Healthy Living and Think Dirty. Both of those involve scanning products and it'll tell you the science behind them. So if you were to look up, I don't know, face wash, it'll give you some EWG verified face washes that are actually good for you. Versus if you're looking up like, I don't know, I'm just gonna look up Clean and Clear. Nothing against you, Clean and Clear. Clean and Clear? Is that what it's called? They don't even have Clean and Clear. All right. If you were to look up something, you can click on it and then it'll give you all of the ingredients. And then if you click on each ingredient, it'll give you the data behind it, like specific scientific research and what the extent the data is. So like limited or extensive, etc. You can also look up food. So like goldfish, I could look up and it'll give me like, oh, it's a 5.0. nutrition concern ingredient, but processing is high. That's their take on it. And then just gives you the top findings. It's great to stay informed about what you're putting into your body and on your body. So I like using these apps just for guidance on products to buy. And Think Dirty is all about cosmetics, from like shaving cream to face wash to soap. Warby Parker for glasses, and if you want to do their glasses try on, you can also do that. It's augmented reality, so if I was to try it on, I'm not buying that one. These were the ones I was gonna buy. It's fun to try on glasses sometimes without having to go to the store, especially now when you can't go to the store. Google Translate, because I make a lot of TikToks with Google Translate. I use Google Translate to narrate my life.
I'm drinking hibiscus tea. Opening the fridge. Face ID doesn't love me.
I like her voice, I think she's funny, but also I use it to translate. So like you can translate different languages. I don't know if they added the camera feature yet. They did. So you can take a picture of a language and it will translate it to the best of its ability. You can also record a conversation now for certain languages. It's a great tool to have, especially if you're traveling somewhere down the line. Then there's VSCO. VSCO, it offers great control when you're taking a picture. I do prefer it for night mode pictures. I like the filters. I think they're some of the most authentic filters around. VSCO Labs takes into deep account old film cameras, so when they make their analog filter, they try to make it as close to the actual image as possible, which I really appreciate. Then there's Timetable, which is a schedule, so it's a weekly schedule. I just think it's easier to read than the Apple Calendar. You can color code it and it makes your daily life easier. Then there's Tumblr. I use Tumblr occasionally. With Tumblr, it's interesting because it's not people looking for validation, it's more people talking about the things that they're interested in, which is pretty cool. Groupon, haven't used it in a while. Sometimes I just scroll on it mindlessly. Trulia for when you want to look up a house that's like $5 million, like when you're bored. TikTok, I use TikTok a lot. I love it. It's recently my favorite social media platform other than YouTube, but I definitely recommend it, and follow me on TikTok. LinkedIn to find jobs and to connect with people. Crossy Road Castle is my favorite Apple Arcade game. You can play multiplayer with people on the same Wi-Fi network as you, which is pretty great. Gotta Go for when you need to get out of a situation. Gotta Go is there to help. What it does is it mimics a text or a call from whoever you choose it to be so that you can get out of uncomfortable situations. BU Mobile and BU Alumni, kind of self-explanatory. I went to BU and I'm now an alum. Vivino is an app that scans wine labels and it'll let you know all of the information about the wine bottle. And you don't scan the barcode, you actually scan the label. And I found that its technology is so great and accurate. It's one of the most accurate apps I've ever used. Even if I take a blurry photo, it usually matches it to the wine bottle, even if it's a very obscure bottle. I'm not like a wine expert of any sort, but sometimes it's interesting to learn about it. Prime Now is Amazon Prime for delivery within the same day. I think it's 2-hour windows, so sometimes you can get it within 2 hours, and they also have Whole Foods delivery. It's limited now because of the current situation, but when all of this isn't going on, it's a very useful tool for when you're pressed for time and you want your groceries delivered. Prime Video, I don't really use it on my phone, but sometimes I'll use it on my phone if I'm trying to pick out a movie. Book Scouter for selling your textbooks, I use that. Preview to show you what your Instagram grid will look like. I usually use this for other Instagram accounts. If I'm working on something, like if I'm managing an Instagram account, then I will use Preview to see how they look on the grid. SoundCloud I use for underground music, like mixtapes or like low-key artists. Uber I don't usually use, but I mean, sometimes I have to. Pixelmator I love. It's a paid app. It's $4.99, but it's basically Photoshop on your phone, and I highly recommend it. It has layers, it has background removal tool, it's great. Fuji mimics the disposable cameras in the 90s, so when you take a picture, it develops it. So it adds this cool effect over it, which sometimes is cool for Instagram or just adding some like nostalgic aspect to it. Pixel loop for when I make live wallpapers. If you haven't seen my live wallpaper video, it's right here, and be nice, it's when I didn't have a tripod or a mic, so I used to just use the in-camera audio, so if it's loud or like rattly, I'm sorry. Google, I used to use it if I'm taking a picture of something. Sometimes you could search Google with taking a picture, so if I wanted to take a picture of a painting, say, and then Google will let me know like similar paintings or what it is. Saloniki, Oath, and Clover are all restaurants that I frequent in Boston. Activity I don't really use, it's hooked up to Apple Watch. Scriptable is interesting if you're a coder or into coding. It gives you like a full platform that you can kind of code with. It's a very useful coding tool, so I'll give it that. Veneto, I just downloaded for fun one time on a rainy day, and it gives you singing lessons. It's more of just like learning notes and stuff. Word Connect, I find that to be fun. Shortcuts I use a lot. I have a lot of shortcuts, from converting a video to a GIF to playing on Spotify. The David Dobrik store, when I thought I was a member of the Vlog Squad. Wish I use just to look up things like, I don't know, tripod parts that I want to order, and it's a lot cheaper because it's coming from China. YouTube Studio and TubeBuddy I use to manage my YouTube account. Made is custom Instagram story templates. InShot I also use for my live wallpaper. Reddit I use to look up stocks and to look at things that I'm interested in. Canva is a very advanced photo template app, so you can design an Instagram post, an Instagram story, a logo, a flyer, from social media to presentations to business cards. It's free for the most part, and it's a really advanced tool. It's great to have. Into Live, same thing for live wallpaper. Mercari is like a more modern eBay. I don't really use it that often. Pinterest for if I'm looking up certain recipes, if I decide I want to be a cook for the day. Milkshake gives you a custom website for your Instagram bio. So for mine, I had my YouTube channel, my portfolio page, my Spotify playlist, and my website. I did replace this with just the YouTube link on my Instagram bio, but I think it's cool just to have it, and if you want to try it out, definitely do. Paper is the most accurate drawing tool, I would say. Like, the way that you write with these seems very realistic, almost like the real thing. From a calligraphy pen to a marker to a pencil. Highly recommend that, it's free. PixArt, it's kind of similar to Canva. You can edit your pictures, you can make awesome pics. There's more ads on PixArt though. So you can make collages, there's templates, you can make live stickers, you can draw, you can use a transparent background, which I use a lot. Lululemon, and I only buy Lululemon if it's an investment piece that I think I will use every day. Poshmark, I don't use that often. I was gonna sell some of my old clothes on there, and then I just never got around to it. Auto rap is fun. It's definitely a fun party game. You just talk or rap into it and it'll make it into a full-on rap song. It's a really fun game. MBTA CSA, if you see anything on the train in Boston or public transport that is bad, you can contact them and transit police will deal with it, which is great. It's a great thing to have to prioritize the safety of people. Focus is an app that lets you edit the depth behind you in portrait mode pictures. So I find myself using that because sometimes portrait mode will just like miss like one piece of my hair or something and it'll be blurry. With Focus, you can edit that back in, which is great. House, it's like Pinterest for houses. Followers for if you want to be shady and see who unfollowed you, and then you can unfollow them. Sleeps 2 is a Christmas app. I used to use it on my iPhone 4S, 5S, 6S, and now 10S Max. But when you click on it, it tells you how many days are left until Christmas, which I love. It used to have music, and it used to, when you went like this, it would make like a bell noise. So I used to walk around the house with my little sister and like tap people saying we were spreading Christmas cheer. It was just like our own tradition, but now it doesn't make any noise. So I don't know, it hasn't been updated in 2 years, so it could be because I have a newer phone. 1888 is very similar to Huji, except it's more of a Kodak, I would say. So like if you take a picture, It looks cool. It's very similar to Huji. I just like to have options. CoStar gives you astrology, but sometimes it can be very mean to you. Let's see. Oh, today it's not bad. Pay attention to what kinds of people step in to help when established systems fail. Okay. But it'll give you like where your pressures, your power, and your trouble is of that day based on like the moon transit and stuff. So it's interesting. You can also see your full birth chart based on when you were born. So I take astrology with a grain of salt, but it's still interesting to read up on and learn about it. Best parking for if you're in a city and you're looking for parking. Best parking gives you a QR code that you can scan at parking garages and you can get a really good price on parking. Dropbox is storage. Anchor is Spotify's podcast making app. It's really great for posting and distributing a podcast. I highly recommend it. Disney Plus, don't watch really. My family has it, so I just downloaded it. Quibi, I did watch, and if you want to watch my review on Quibi, click here. It's 6-minute videos that are very cinematic with big actors and big studios. Redbubble, for when I want to make a Redbubble sticker and try to sell it. Byte, I do not use. TikTok is way better. Controversial opinion? I'm not even sure. I don't even think people use Byte anymore. Be My Eyes is an app to help blind people if they have certain things in their house, especially if they're alone and they can't see like their thermostat. You're their eyes for them, so they'll call you and you're just basically a volunteer that'll help them see their thermostat and tell them what temperature it's at or how to turn it down, which I think is so important and it's such a great thing to have. Unfold, I don't even know what that is, honestly. Later is a free Instagram scheduling tool that I use for brands. If I want to schedule posts out, Later is free and it's great. Solfege, sorry I'm butchering that, is a music theory app, kind of like Duolingo. It's every day you learn a little tidbit of information and it's kind of interesting. Mematic, I've had this for a long time and it's to make memes and it's the best update I've ever seen on an app. It used to be kind of but now it's very intuitive. I really like it and I appreciate the update. Darkroom, for if you want to edit photos, is great. You can edit portrait mode photos on there and it does a really good job. Parallax and Film 3D are both 3D cameras, so if you want to take a 3D image and post it somewhere, those are great options. Ramini, if you haven't already seen my video, is an app that converts low quality images to high quality images using artificial intelligence. It does it to the best of its ability, but sometimes it ends up really but sometimes it ends up great, so it's a great tool to have. Xfinity TV remote for when like I can't find the remote and it like fell in between the couch cushions, I'll use that. Trello is very similar to Canva. I honestly have never used it, but I saw an ad for it and I downloaded it. DuckDuckGo is the privacy web browser. Privacy is DuckDuckGo's #1 priority. They don't sell information, they don't save information from what I've read, and I think it's great that whatever you type in will not show up in an ad somewhere. So I love it. Vitacost is very similar to iHerb. It's just health food, vitamins, that type of stuff. Wayfair for furniture. Peloton, because they offered a free 90-day trial during this quarantine period. And you don't need an exercise bike. They have plenty of classes that help motivate you to work out indoors. They're only offering 90-day trials through the end of April, so definitely get on that if you haven't already. The Annex, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I love his YouTube channel. He is the only personal trainer on YouTube or even exercise class. Even comparing him with Peloton, I much prefer his workouts and exercise routines. I see results when I do his workout videos every day, and I really like his YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. Next is a lot of finance stuff. If you haven't already seen my investing video, 5 apps to get started, here's that up here. My Wall Street Learn teaches you the ins and outs of the stock market before you begin. Investor is a stock simulator and you can compete on the simulator with friends and family with fantasy leagues. I use Robinhood and Fidelity for trading. They both have their pros and cons, but I like to have both of them. Yahoo Finance I use, but ever since I started using Apple stocks, I stopped using Yahoo Finance as much. StockTwits is Twitter for stocks. It's good to see what people are saying about certain stocks. It's in real time, it's like Twitter, and it constantly updates, so I think it's great. The next 3 apps, well 4 really, RB Digital, Press Reader, Hoopla, and Libby. All 4 of those apps allow you to get free stuff using your library card. It's a very good tool to have, especially when you're home with nothing to do. And I found myself using Libby the most. I think Libby is very modern and it's very easy to use. That's what I use for ebooks. That's what I actually prefer. I think it's a great user experience and I really like it. There's also Speako, which is a daily, Speako rhymes with Nico. It's a daily public speaking app which will teach you little tidbits of information. I'm always looking to improve my public speaking skills, so I really enjoy Speako. You can record your voice and they'll give you real feedback. The last 2, one of them is Planta. It tells you when to water your plants based on the species, which is great. It helps me keep my plants alive and healthy. And then lastly, Google Arts and Culture. It lets you take virtual reality tours of museums. If you take a selfie, it'll let you know which painting most resembles you, which was a fun tool. And I will be doing a video on that in the future. So thank you guys for watching. Those are all of the apps on my iPhone currently. I know it was a lot, but I wanted to run through all of them because it's something that I used to love watching. I used to love watching what's on my iPhone videos. So hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you found a couple of apps that you want to add to your app collection. If you have any apps that you really enjoy or some of your favorite apps, comment down below. I'd love to know. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, click the subscribe button. I post a new video every Thursday, sometimes more, and next week I'm going to try something different where I post multiple times a week. So, I'll see you next week. Peace.